Right, let's start today's session. See, in the last lecture of DJANGO, we will discuss complete setup of DJANGO and how to manage the files and settings in DJANGO we discuss. First, let's open Visual Studio Code and let's open our project. Then we'll continue. So go to the Visual Studio Code. This is our editor tool and click on the file menu. Open new folder, like open the folder. Click on open folder. Go to the location of your project where you have saved. C drive, users, computer name, and there is a folder called DJANGO 7:30 AM, but you should not open this folder. Okay, so double click on it, DJANGO 7:30 AM, and then inside there is a project folder, DJANGO project 7:30 AM. Or else you can see in the recent list also in the Visual Studio Code. So recently what projects you opened, that click on that project. So yesterday I opened this DJANGO project 7:30. Here also you can click, no problem, in the recent list. So I'm selecting this folder and look at this. This is your folder, project folder. And yesterday I create one application also, like my first application, but I have not written any code in my application. So we'll try to write some code here today. How to execute that code also we'll discuss. But meanwhile, you can see every time you have to cross verify whether you are in your virtual environment or not. Means virtual environment is important, right? So virtual environment is an isolation environment. So try to move towards virtual environment. If you are not in your environment, you must and should activate your virtual environment. So for activation of virtual environment, go to the terminal and look at this. Still we are in C drive only. So you have to activate virtual environment. 2 dots slash your virtual environment name, mynv slash scripts slash activate. This is the way to activate virtual environment. Dot slash mynv slash script slash activate. Press enter. You have activated your environment clearly, mynv. And then if you want to run the server, what is the command? Python space manage.py run server. Okay. And you will get the link here. You can simply click on this link and automatically your server will be launched and you will get this message only. Fine. This already we did in the last lecture. To move back to your command prompt, go to the Control C and clear screen CLS. These are all we did last lecture. And today lecture, quickly we will try to install some extensions. Okay, if you want to work with the DJANGO, especially MVT pattern like models, views, templates and all, so you must include some extensions at first time. But already in my case, many times I have included extensions, so I have already installed. So you must install the extension here for the first time who are doing DJANGO projects with Visual Studio Code. And what are the extensions? I'll try to show you one by one extension you can do from your side. Okay. So when I go to the extensions, look at this is the extensions option. Click on the extensions and first extension we have to search in search box. So first like try to include Python. This is one of the extension. Okay. So this is Python language, which is library. These are the libraries. Python language support with extension. Access points for IntelliSense like this, debugging, Python debugger, everything is going to be available. Click on this and notice this. When I click on this, for me, it is showing what? Uninstall option. That meaning is what? Already have installed. But in your case, it will show install option. Click on that. Once you click on, within the few seconds, it will be installed. Okay. So this is Python extension for Visual Studio Code. We are going to write in DJANGO web development, especially in the view logic, we are going to write Python code, right? So that you will get IntelliSense support and library supports, which will be there if you install this extension. So I'm clicking on this Python extension and it is showing for me uninstall. That indicates that I have already installed. You will get install option only, sir. If you click on this, it will be installed quickly. Let me close this extension. Next extension is DJANGO. Already DJANGO framework we have installed, right? Yes. So then why this is extension means just for syntax intelligence purpose. So this is DJANGO. You can also use this. Already I have done DJANGO also for clear syntaxes. Okay, code snippets. Okay. So in that context, we are going to use this Django extension. Here also uninstall it is showing, but already I have done installation of this Django. Next, you can see HTML. Type the HTML. HTML and CSS support. This is one required to install. Look at this, already I have done. Uninstall it is showing. And especially HTML boilerplate. This is HTML boilerplate. You can also install this one only. This extension provides the standard HTML boilerplate code used in web application only. So these are the extension: Python, Django, HTML and CSS support, and HTML boilerplate. And also SQLite. SQLite. Type SQLite in the extension. So look at this. This is, I recommend you to install. So this is already installed in my case, SQLite. These are all extensions are required, sir, actually. So for the first time, it is required. For me, it is showing everything uninstalled. So that means already installation is done. So once extensions you install like Python, Django, SQLite, HTML, and CSS support, HTML boilerplate. These extensions are enough as of now. In future, any extensions are required, I'll try to install it, no problem. So just click on extensions. You will try to type something in the search box what you want. Then that extensions we can able to install it. So go back to your project folder. Now let's try to launch one DB tool. DB tool means database tool. See, sir, here by default in my Django SQLite 3 database integrated. Yes, SQLite 3 only. So you'll see that SQLite 3 db.sqlite 3. When we double click on it, you will be able to see open anyway and click on this. And in the sets editor, it is saying like SQLite Viewer. When I click on SQLite Viewer and all the tables which I created yesterday by making migration, all tables are created. These tables are showing here only in Visual Studio window, but somebody will feel that it's uncomfort because the reason is this database tables also can be managed here in Visual Studio Code. If you don't want to manage these databases tables here, and simply you can set up that separate tool, which is third-party tool, database tool. The tool name is DB Browser for SQLite. Yes, for me, already I have installed DB Browser for SQLite software. Let me show you uninstall and quickly reinstall how to set up DB Browser for SQLite and how to open your project database file into that DB Browser tool. So let's go to control panel first. Let's uninstall the DB Browser tool. So look at this here, DB Browser for SQLite. I'm doing an installation. Why? Because just I want to show you installation process of DB Browser for SQLite. It's a very simple and lightweight software. This is the third-party database tool which we can manage your Django database and tables. Now, you want to set up DB Browser for SQLite. Simply, you can go to the Google search and download DB Browser for SQLite. Look at this, download DB Browser for SQLite. And there you can able to find out this is DB Browser for SQLite download. So you are in the SQLite browser org, and there immediately will see that few options here. It will tell you, sir, what option is required to click on it. Okay, go back. Yes, first one, I have to click on it. SQLitebrowser.org, click on this, and you'll be able to get these options. In these options, third option I recommend to install DB browser for SQLite standard installer for 64-bit Windows. Click on it and it will be immediately download. Look at this, it's downloading. In the downloading process, sometimes it will be stop. So you can keep on resume. Automatically, it will be fully download. Once downloaded successfully done, and close this Windows and go to the download folder and install it. So look at this, how I'm doing installation. Very simple. DB browser for SQLite. Double click on it. And welcome to the DB browser for SQLite setup. Click on next. And I accept the term condition. Click on next. And look at this DB browser for SQLite. Do you want to give desktop menu? You can. DB browser for SQL Cipher. Click on next. Click on next and install it. That's it. It's a very simple tool and lightweight tool to manage your SQLite database with this tool instead of managing with Visual Studio Code, which makes lots of disturbances. Okay, so completed DB browser for SQLite setup wizard and close it. Now you will see DB browser for SQLite tool is there here. And let's go to the search, type DB, just you'll be able to get DB browser for SQLite, right? So this is, you have to open it, sir. Open it now. Once you open it, you will be able to look this window. In this window, do you want to open your project database? So your project is, this is right, DJANGO 7:30 AM. In this project, we have a database file db.sqlite3. And then where is the project location? There we have to go and open this file in DB browser for SQLite. So open database option is there on the top, and immediately you can go to the location of your project folder, users, and computer name, and the folder name is DJANGO 7:30. Double click project, DJANGO project 7:30. Double click, and there is a file called db.sqlite3. This is only the file, right? Open it. Now you can see whatever the tables are there, built-in tables, all the tables will be present here. Any one table do you want to open? So you can open it. How we can open? For suppose I want to open authentication user table, which is built-in table. Right click on the table name and browse table, and you will be able to get the table details like this. All the tables are, we don't have any data, nothing is showing. Or do you want to open other table? Then you can go to authentication permission like this. So all the tables we can manage it here. These are the built-in tables for built-in application. And later when we go for current our own application, our own tables also we can manage like this here only. This will be easy to manage the tables of your database, right? Instead of managing the tables in Visual Studio Code only. So here, so this is complete setup of Django. Now it's time to understand the flow of execution, how we are going to execute the Django application with proper coding. So let's open the MVT diagram. I said already, Django is going to be depend on MVT architecture. Request and response is going to be processed through MVT model only. In Django, MVT architecture, look at this. This is the architectural diagram. So here user who is going to send request. User can click on the link. That link is Django server link, right? http:// 127.0.0.1 port number. That is the Django server link. Then server immediately it will identify the URL. URL means uniform resource locator or uniform resource identifier. So URL address it will look. After that URL, it will search for the view. In your application, any view is there, the view is going to be identified by looking at the URL only. this view is going to execute. In this view, what code you have written, that code only is going to be executed. Later, this view through we can communicate with model and template also. This part later I'll introduce. First, we will go through this view only, how it is. But where is the URLs actually? Look at this, sir. In your project folder, we have a project folder here, Django project 730M, and application folder also there. But look at this application folder don't have any URLs. Okay, generally, when we create a new application, it do not have any urls.py. But where is the urls.py by default means in the project folder only. Look at this. This is Django project 730M. In the project folder only, urls.py is there, URLs. Okay. And here, this is the URL. Default URL is there, admin.site.urls. Do you want to click URL names admin slash means it will go to admin page. Look at this, for example, let me run the server, run server. And now you can see when I click on the link here and it will open like this. But in the URL address, I have admin, right? Slash admin I'm using. Press enter, it will go to admin page, Django administration. But I don't have username and password, right? You have to create. How to create that I'll tell you later because super user creation it is. So if you want to create, you can create now only, but I'll tell you later that is not required. This is Django administrative panel going. So just I mentioned what URL name admin slash admin. Look at this first the application request goes to URLs, project level URLs. In this project level URLs, I mention admin slash, then it will reach to admin.site.urls only. That's what we are getting the window called administrative window here. To enter into admin panel of Django, you must have the account. Account means username and password. Later, I'll show how to create an account clearly. So admin super user account you have to create. So fine, the URLs are very important. URL through only we can identify our views, right? Remember, let's go to my application first. So what is your application? This is how I created this application. Python space manage.py space start app space app name, my first app I created in the last lecture. And let's go to the views. This application is having models, views, templates is already created, right? So let's double click on views only. View is nothing but Python logic. In MVT model means it represents database code. View in the sense business logic layer means Python logic. T means template, that is presentation layer. So here I'm doing with views only now. Views. Create your views. Views can be two types, sir. Either you can create the view like function-based view or class-based view. Any type of views you can create, no problem at all. Okay, I'm trying to create function-based view right now. This is Python logic. Look at this views.py file. Py means Python only. You know in Python how to define a functions, right? Yes, def. And then view name. You can give any name like my view or my first view. This is my first view. With request object compulsory. First parameter should be request only. So this is my function name, my first view. Generally, if your function is having multiple words, better to use the name convention underscore sign. Each word should be separated with underscore, right? So this is the naming rule. Or else we can give simple name also like V1, V2 like this. Let me give my first view. It's a meaningful name. And look at this. When we execute this view, means this is function, right? Function when it executes, sir. I said already in my Python language, right? Functions will execute only when we call it. Yes, you have to call the function. But where we have to call that, I'll tell you that clearly. Okay, yes. So I have created function called my first view. And in this function, through, I need to get the response. So this function is returning the response. For response purpose, we have to use HTTP response class. Look at this HTTP response class we are writing, but it is saying underline red squiggly. That means the relevant library is required for using this class. So how to get this relevant library means, see sir, whenever we place mouse pointer, there is a quick fix option is there. Quick fix. You don't know how to add the relevant library to use this HTTP response class, simply you can click on quick fix option and automatically look at this. It is saying the library which is required from django.http import HTTP response. Once you click on it, on the top automatically the relevant library will be added. So this is the technique. So whichever you want, you can write it. If it is giving error, if you don't know really that class or methods do not have in which library, that library you can directly click on it by using quick fix only. Or else you know how to handle this HTTP response and all manually. Manually also you can write, look at this, from django.http import HTTP response like this. So IntelliSense support is there, then you can use the IntelliSense support. Automatically you can press enter, it will be captured from there only. So this HTTP response class I'm using, and I'm going to give the response message. So just I'm giving, this is my first view response like this. Okay, so this is the function name, and this function is giving return response to the browser. This is my first response. But now observe, the function will execute only when we call it in normal Python programming, right? Function executes only when we call it, sir. But here to execute this function like view, we have to call this. Where we have to call? This is this function I'm executing through Django server. But if you want to execute this function through Django server, you must specify for your function the URLs. So first request goes to URLs only. From URLs to, you have to identify your view which you need to execute. That is my first view here. So how to set the URL? Look at this. Go to the project level URLs. We have only option right now project level URLs only. Later I'll introduce application level URLs also. Now you can see expand this project folder. There is a urls.py. Now you can see only one URL. This is auto configured, and our URL we have to set. How to set? Path and no name of the URL, comma. Okay. So the view name we have to use it. The view name, my first view, where it is there, views.py. So you have to mention views dot my underscore first underscore view like this only. But the problem is what happened here. You can see this. You are in project folder urls.py, but your view is available in which application? My first application views.py. You know, in Python language, we learned, right, how to access or consume one method or function or class from one file to another file, means one module to another module. So here views.py is one module. From this views, I am accessing my first view function in where urls.py, but this urls.py don't know this my first view is coming from where? Views coming from where? Your application, my first app. So you must import the module. Look at this. From my first tab is application name, import what you are importing, views. That's it. Error is gone. So this is the module section, sir. So already we learned this concept in Python, right? So actually views present in my first app. So I'm getting views from my first app only. From my first app is your application name. I'm importing the views. Why we are importing the views? Because in the views, one view or function is there to execute this function name. So I'm setting this function name in the URL patterns. So my first view, but this view is present in which folder? Views.py. This views.py is present in where? My first app. Now let's run the application directly. You will be able to execute this my first user. How it is? Because I said that user, whenever he send the request by hitting the link, that link can locate that link can looking URLs. it first request goes to project level URLs. Yes, urls.py. In the urls.py, there are two URLs are there. One is admin slash. This will not respond because if you don't give admin slash in the URL address bar, it will not execute. But here there is no name of the URL. The highest priority will give to this no name of the URL. Directly it will call views of my first view. So when we call this my first view function and in the return response, we are getting this result. This is my first view response only. So let's see how it is displaying the result. So let's go to the terminal and just you can see already reloaded. Yes, any changes you do, if you go to terminal, automatically your server will be reloaded, sir. If you have the link, you can click on this link. Directly you are getting, this is my first view response like this. But this is look like small size, right? Font size. Do you want and every time no need to close this browser, sir. Just minimize the browser and whatever you want to do changes in your code, you can do it. Look at this. For example, I'm giving H1 section. Actually, this is HTML code, but we should not include HTML and Python logic both together here only. We will separate, but just for displaying the response value in big size, I'm giving H1 section. So H1 means heading. So close the tag here. Now, once I do changes, right, go to the terminal. Now you can see automatically server is reloaded. Okay. If I do changes, look at this again, I'm changing. Let's go to the terminal, click with mouse, just automatically reload. Once it reload, you need not to click on the link already have executed right in the browser. Just go and refresh it. It's going to be respond like this. So this is your first view response. We are getting clearly here. And this is directly executing, right? So as soon as when I click on, why? Because the request goes to first DJANGO URLs. That URL can identify the view. The URL name you have not mentioned, that's what it's directly priority, my first view only. But what happen if I try to give the URL name here? Look this, I'm giving URL name. For suppose I'm giving view v1, I'm giving just any name you can give, v1 slash means first view only. This is URL name. And if I go to browser and you can see this refresh, it will not respond. So page not found you are getting. Why we are getting page not found? The meaning is our Django server is looking the URLs like admin slash v1 slash anyone because you have mentioned two URL names. These are the endpoints or URL names or resource names. So user can look for any URL name what he wants to execute. Either you can click on admin slash or you can use v1 slash anyone in the URL address. But you have not mentioned that, so that's what it's looking these two files. You can both URLs you can use it. Admin means you can go to admin panel and then simply v1 means you will be able to execute your first view like this is my first view. So previously how it was directly executed because I have not mentioned the URL name, right? That's what it's directly executing. So it depends on your requirement. As soon as when you start the server and click the link directly, you need to get response from particular view means don't give the URL name for that. And generally URL names when it is required means, so when we have multiple number of views in your views.py. Right now we have only one view, that is my first view. So I don't require to give the name because which I want to target directly without my intervention by using v1 slash or something. Directly I want to execute. So click on the link, directly will be able to navigate to the function calling, function giving response to you like this only. Now in case if you have multiple views, so here in the first application, this is your first application, right? In the views, if you have multiple number of views, let me create one more view also. def, just view name I'm giving. My second view, request, and then return HTTP response. And I'm writing the code here just in the H1 section again. So let me write, this is my second view like this. H1. Now we are having second view response. We are having two views, right? First view and second view. But do you want to execute this also? Yes, you must inform this view also into the URL pattern. How I am trying to include, look at this path, no name in the single quotes, comma, views dot, what is your view name? My second view, then comma. That's it. So we have a three URL patterns are there. One is admin slash to go to admin page, and next one is no names are there. Here two views are there, different views which are coming from views.py, which are coming from first application folder. But in this view, which is the highest priority, sir? If I don't give the name, name, it is no name here, no name. Obviously, DJANGO server can recognize this name first. My first view only we can execute. Look at this. As soon as when I Control C, clear screen, and start the server. Now, once you start the server, you will be able to get the request response from first view only, not second view. But sir, what can I do if I want to get response from second view? Means I want to execute second view also, right? To execute second view, you can't do it now because the first only you mentioned first view. Do you want to execute second view? Is this correct process to change the order like this? First only I'm mentioning second view, and now you can see when we give the request and getting response from second view. This is not correct way if when we are dealing with multiple views, right? So that's what I'm doing here. You can mention the view names, means URL names, URL pattern. You can request the which view do you want to execute with URL names. So URL name, any name you can take. For example, v1 slash I'm giving and v2 slash I'm giving. Slash is optional, not compulsory, but better to practice with slash only because sometimes we can pass parameters also like this. Okay, integer parameter or string parameter like that. In that context, we can use slash separation. So now this time we can see total three URL names are there: admin slash, v1 slash, v2 slash. So v1, v2 are representing the multiple views. Now you have an option. Either you can go with v1 slash or v2 slash. Which view do you want to execute? You can decide during the running time in the URL address. Let's go to the browser and refresh it. Page not found will wait because you are not decided to execute what view. So simply I'm trying to do v1. Let I'm getting the response from first view. And do you want to execute second view? V2, I'm getting response from second view. This is my second view response, like this only. Okay, this is the application and view how it is going to be executed. Only up to here I'm explaining, sir. I've not introduced model and templates. Later part I'll discuss. Okay. So first user is sending request by clicking on the link. The link through it is identifying the URL directly goes to project level URLs. In the URL, it will wait for your request. Either you can click on V1 or V2. That view address, it will recognize the view, views.py will execute. In that, it return response, what code you have written, that give the response to the user back. That is first request response or second view response, like this only we are getting. Okay, so this is, but what happens are when I try to go to admin panel, so admin panel, how I can visit here, username and password. Yes, let me show you admin panel username and password. So admin user is nothing but super user for your Django project. Remember that admin user is meaning is what? He is the super user for your Django project. So when I create admin details, where it will store, I will show you that location also, where your details will be stored. Okay. First, do you want to create admin user? You have to pass this command in the terminal. Python space manage.py space create super user. Create super user is only one word. There is no space in between words. Okay. Remember. So first command here. So Python space manage.py space create super user. Super user is nothing but admin user. Admin user means who can able to visit admin panel for doing the further activities. Is the main user for your total project. So you can have multiple super users also, no problem. Let me pass this command first, how it is possible to create. Go to the terminal and now Control C, clear screen. Now let me pass the command. What commands are here? Python space. Listen, sir, how we can create super user. It is very simple. First, we have to type Python space manage.py space create super user. Create super user like this. Python space manage.py space create super user. Press enter. And first time it will ask you like this, username, leave blank to use Mohan. It's my computer name. Do you want to leave the username as it is? You can press enter. Automatically username will be considered as your computer name like Mohan. Or else you want to enter your own username. I'm entering like just I'm giving username Mohan only. Press enter. Email address. It is optional. Do you want to skip? Simply press enter. Or else you can give dummy mail mohan@gmail.com like this. Just I'm giving. Press enter. And immediately in the next password it will ask you, sir. You can also mention password, same name, easy to recognize. Mohan only I'm giving. But when we type the password, it will not visible, sir. Okay, it doesn't mean that you should not type multiple times. That is, you have to take care. So I'm typing password, but it's not appear. Okay, for security reasons. MOHAN. I'm typing. Press enter. Again, it will ask you password. Same password you have to enter MOHAN. Press enter. So the password is too similar to the username. This password is too short. It must contain at least 8 characters, it is saying. But look at this, bypass the password validation and create any user anyway. Yes, I want to create user anyway. For my password is short only, no problem. I can continue by hitting Y letter. Y means you are giving S, press enter. Now you will get a message called what? Super user created successfully, means admin user created. Now after super user created successfully, let's run the server Python space manage.py run server, and you will have the link here and click on the link. In the URL, we have 3 URL patterns, right? Admin slash v1 slash v2 slash. Now I can able to go to admin panel because I have account. Just now I created my account, super username, password, username Mohan, password also Mohan. Let's click on login and I can enter into admin panel. So this is DJANGO admin panel window. Look at this right hand side, welcome Mohan is there. And you want to change the password. Do you want to log out? And you can see site administration, users, groups, everything will be there. Why this is admin panels are actually means in future, we will try to manage our database models in MVT design pattern. We will try to prepare a lot of model classes. All the models, do you want to register in admin panel for view your database models with the tabular format, with managing, inserting records, updating records, modifying anything you can do all the transactions in the Django administration model only, administration panel only. This is admin panel. Okay, let's log out admin panel, no problem. Later you will come to know what are the details are there in admin panel. Okay, let's close it. But just now we create a super user, right? Yes, one user name is super user name Mohan. But this super user details where it is there? Database. Yes, obviously. Now you can see you want to manage the database here. You can click on the db.sqlite3 or else for managing the database purpose, we have what DB browser tool is there, right? Let me open DB browser tool. There I can show you your details just now what you entered. So open database and go to the location of the project folder where we have, now you can see project folder will be DJANGO 730M, DJANGO 730M, db.sqlite3. And you can see this is the main table, sir. You will also get more information in future about this table. This is the built-in table. These tables will get automatically when we do for the first time migrate. Do you remember last lecture I discussed Python space manage.py migrate means I have got these tables, built-in tables with the built-in applications. Right click on auth underscore user and browse table. Look at this, my ID is 1, Password is security purpose. It is encrypted. Last login. Just now I have login. Is super user status. Code is 1 means yes, super user status correct. 0 means not super user. Username is Mohan. Mohan@gmail.com. Staff member S. Active member S. Date joined. First name, last name I have not provided. That's what it's not there here. First name not there, last name not there, like that. Look at this. So this is the details actually. Your super user account details will be there in this authentication user table only, sir. So later also we will manage all these things in detail clearly. So this is request and response. Now, what are the main commands means? This is one of the command python space manage.py create super user. And to create a new application, python space manage.py start app application name. You have to use it. Okay, run server. These are the basic commands which we use regularly. Run server, this is. And we want to migrate for the first time, manage.py migrate only. Migrate means first time in your project, lot of built-in applications. On that application, lot of tables are there. All will be create and tables will come across into our database table. So this is the basic command. So creating new application purpose, this command is required. Okay. So we are working with right now only one application, right? This is my first tab only. So what happens are if we create one more application and in that application also you have a views. In that application also we have a multiple views. Then how we can execute particular application, particular view, that we'll discuss in the tomorrow session. Okay. Because at that time, multiple application handling purpose, we have to use application level URLs at that time. Project level URLs do not fit. When we have multiple applications general, in each application, when we maintain multiple views, do you want to execute that particular application, particular view? At that time, I recommend project level URLs, not application level URLs only. Okay, here I have injected v1, v2, my first view, my second view, and now only you can able to execute this views only which is related to first application, but second application views not possible, right? Yeah, that's what actually I'm taking. So how to create new application, how to manage multiple views with multiple application, you will come to know in tomorrow session in detail. So this is the last demo, it's completed. Total 4 demo lectures you have attended. And who are new to this Django sessions, especially exclusively or attending Django, not my Python sessions you have not attended previously. So do you want to continue from tomorrow onwards? Please contact immediately DURGASOFT. They will assist you how to join for this course, and tomorrow we'll continue with the new link. This link will not work for tomorrow. Okay. Yes. So that's all for today.